Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I always consider it an honor to address the audience in this room, because in a career of wide experience in the conservation movement, I know the real deal when I see it. And the Dallas Safari Club is the real deal. There will be a time when the controversial death of a Tanzanian lion will be viewed as one of the greatest gifts to the hunting world. A wake-up call that stirred the capacities and passions, the strength and resolve of a community critical to the conservation of wildlife worldwide. Now, our pathway to this epiphany is clear, ladies and gentlemen. It is very clear. As the world changed around us, our community looked inward for too long and reached outward far too little. We all know this to be true. Like Narcissus, we fell in love with ourselves, with our own image. We spoke highly to one another and of our actions in support of wildlife. We were confident the world would also see us this way. For us, it was so simple, so intuitive. Our activities paid for conservation, for wildlife management and protection. We protected habitats. We gave wildlife a value. And we understood that wildlife does not exist by accident anywhere on this planet anymore. And that love and fascination for wild animals and wild places are not enough in themselves to safeguard these treasures of Eden. Wildlife, we knew, must have tangible values also, to be valued by humanity, to be protected, to be safeguarded. Stewardship, we knew in the hunting community, we knew that stewardship had its own wages to pay. But it became clear that a significant and possibly even growing proportion of the public did not see it this way. They did not have our worldview. They had come to view animal death as something that we might avoid, and the hunting world as chaotic, unkind, and even brutal. And we were shocked by this, huh? We were all shocked by this. Yet the social trends spawning these attitudes, urbanization, the separation of animal death from people's lives, and the awareness even of how their food comes to them, these have been with us for a long time, ladies and gentlemen. These trends have been happening for decades, gnawing away at the realities of our own ecology, replacing these with the myth that our lives can continue without the death of other species. This is a myth. As all world commercial fisheries tell us, we feed ourselves on the dead of the natural world. Cecil was a spark, hitting the dry kindling of these social changes. Cecil was the spark, ladies and gentlemen, not the fuel that drove this. It is a mistake to view Cecil as the fuel. But fortunately, very fortunately, the fire that erupted has forced us to realize that our way of life and the future of hunting now rests upon our shoulders. It is clear. And upon the efforts that we will take with pride and determination to make sure that it is safeguarded. No one else is lifting these weights, ladies and gentlemen, so let's not wait for them. The time for true leadership has come, and the day of hunting's new dawn is now before us. And you are fortunate in this room to be members of and supporters of an organization that has agreed that they will lead this effort. The Dallas Safari Club, the Dallas Safari Club Foundation. No more will we stagger like a drunken man from crisis to crisis. No more will we defer or delay or debate. No more will we belabor the size of the challenge. We will act, emboldened by the strength of our commitment, the depth of our resolve, and the legacy of our inheritance, and the rightful, sweet burden of responsibility that falls to any man or woman who has ever taken the life of a sentient creature. It is up to us to fight this fight. We are the citizens of conservation, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to reshape this debate. Now, I happen to believe that the same crisis that has fueled our angst forced leading international organizations to review trophy hunting. The International Union for the Conservation of Nature, the World Wildlife Fund, even the research unit that was studying the pride of lions that Cecil belonged to. They have all now released public statements and documents on the role of trophy hunting in conservation. And without exception, they have demonstrated that, yes, the evidence is there. So even in the midst of great controversy, we have these leading organizations reach the same conclusions, ladies and gentlemen, that are reached in the heart of every person in this room. This validation is new, it is fresh, and it is clean, and it proves to us that from the womb of crisis, an opportunity is born. And let me ask you, what birth is without pain? What birth is without effort? And what birth is anything less than magical? In my view, hunting is beginning to find new energy. The same social changes that brought us the problems, ladies and gentlemen, are now bringing us other social changes. The locavore movement, the reliance on organic food, all of these trends, ladies and gentlemen, are in our favor. It is not as though the social changes that are around us are only aligned to confront and challenge us. If we are smart, if we are agile, we will seize upon those and ride them into a future of greatness for this oldest triad life that man has ever devised. And yes, there is even the small thing of a new political reality in the United States of America. Thus, while our challenges are many, ladies and gentlemen, our opportunities are large. I have written and spoken a great deal about our challenges, but I tell you honestly, I really believe that we are on the verge of a renaissance for hunting. I really firmly believe this. So I am asking you personally. I will be bold enough to ask you personally, if you believe I have ever done anything for the conservation of wildlife, if you have any respect for my work, I am emboldened to ask you personally to support this initiative. Help us, help this great organization of yours to be the difference we want to see in the hunting world. Indeed, let us all be the difference that we want to see in the hunting world. We must remember that if we continue, ladies and gentlemen, to market our limitations, you may be assured that we will get to keep them. And remember, too, that we are facing an aging problem. We have to move on this task now, not tomorrow, not the next day. We need money. We need money. And we need money. How much we accomplish, ladies and gentlemen, will depend on how much fuel we provide to this train. So I suggest we make the boilers red and race this machine into the public conscience, freighting our truths, freighting our data, freighting our proof of hunting's conservation reality. But I don't only ask this for ourselves or for this organization. I ask for this for them, for the wild others that share this planet with us, the wild others who inspire the young boys who won the award this evening, the wild others that inspire the mature hunters who have taken this stage over so many years, the wild others that parade across our media now, and we cannot help but be entranced by. For them, ladies and gentlemen, for them, this is critical. They are our greatest evidence of Eden in our lives, and we must protect them to the best of our capacity. And as hunters, we have a responsibility at a level that no non-hunter has to keep these animals with us. So if you believe in these wild creatures, as I know you do, I ask you to support this. If you believe hunting is really a conservation tool, if you really, sitting at your tables, believe this now, I ask you to support this. if you believe in freedom and you believe in the right of your children and your grandchildren and their children to experience the profound realities and benefits and joys of this hunting culture that we have, then I tell you, you must support this. And finally, because it is mostly an American audience, I say this. If you believe in this great conservation nation of America, you should support this. Your legacy is extraordinary. Your leadership over a century and more has been exemplary, and you have proven to the world how we can rescue wildlife from the very jaws of depletion and extinction. Now, you will show how we can rescue hunting in exactly the same way. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking all of you to walk in the footsteps of Theodore Roosevelt. I'm asking you to remember what Thoreau told us, that in wildness is the future of the world. And I ask you to remember that you can make a living by what you get, but you make a life for you and your children by what you give. So I say, let's live a little. I want you to be bold, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to be decisive. But most of all, I want you to be generous. This is no joke. It's not some passing fad. This is the real deal. We stand up now. We do the right things. We give it the resources that's needed to make this a monstrous thing that strides across the public conscience, that confronts media everywhere, that brings the truths about the conservation benefits of hunting worldwide to societies everywhere until they tire and weaken under the strength and the barrage of truths that we will provide. It is up to us, and we must not fail. And I have every single belief and expectation that we will succeed. I have watched this organization grow and mature and do so many great things, and I am absolutely delighted that discussions that we have had over so many years have seen so many wonderful things put on the ground in support of hunting. But this, ladies and gentlemen, will be the most important thing of all. Just a few moments ago, I had an extraordinarily touching interaction with the man that I had only met earlier this morning at the Life Members Breakfast. Navy SEAL George Severance came up to me this evening and gave me this seal. all I will ever need to believe in the unlimited capacity for good and for creation, for generosity in the American people and in the American nation. All I will ever have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is look at this. And I say to George, thank you so much. Use this as your inspiration to make this a reality, ladies and gentlemen, and turn the ship of hunting around. Thank you very much. Thank you.